Hello everyone, and welcome to a video all about releasing attachment to your external counterpart to come into your own divine power, your own internal union with yourself and with your soul. Because this journey is about your own spiritual growth, your own spiritual process, and your divine counterpart outside of you is a mirror to your process. And so we're going through a separation for a reason. The physical separation that's happening is there for your own expansion, because you can't be in divine union until you have come into your own spiritual mastery, you have come into your own internal union, you've gone through your process that your soul is taking you through. Because this journey is a soul journey. It's not the journey of the mind or the ego. The more that we're staying in the mind and the ego, and the more we're trying to figure out this journey through the mind and the ego, the more we're going to stay stuck. Because this journey is about the soul coming into that oneness again. We're going through a physical separation on this process for a reason, because we've got to clear out everything that is not in alignment to our soul truth. And that's what your soul is taking you through. So on this journey, you're going to experience the physical separation, but you're also going to experience the reunions and the final union. So you need to understand that this is a process that's unfolding, that's already governed or already predestined, or you have a certain soul plan that's unfolding here. So what needs to happen is that you need to realize that this is about your own power and coming back to your own power, not focusing on the physical person or the physical relationship that may be playing out and may actually not be working, because there is a lot of still imbalances within the connection. And so there is the runner chaser, there's a lot of things that could be happening within the connection that is still unhealthy and still not balanced. Let's say the energies aren't balanced. So on this journey, what's really important that we focus back on ourselves, because your counterpart is there to mirror all of your everything that you need to see within yourself. And that's why they come in at certain points to show you things. Maybe you're reconnecting, and they actually start to mirror to you what you still need to work on. And so what we need to work on this journey is we need to start to focus on our own internal union. We need to focus on coming into our divine power for divine feminines, because this is a journey of coming back into your own divine power. And the divine feminine here is the leader, is the energetic leader. Most of the time, that's how it's working in this journey, that the feminine is the awakened. Sometimes the masculine is awakened first. That is something that's happening as well now on this journey, that the masculines can be the first awakened. Maybe there's a switch in polarity happening. Regardless of that, it is a journey back to your own soul alignment. And that's really important. Without coming into soul alignment, you can't have divine union, because you're still in that separation consciousness and you're still separated from your soul, because the soul is what you need to start to embody and live through to then achieve this alignment with your twin, this balanced alignment, because it's the soul that we're separated from on this journey. Because what we're reclaiming on this journey is the soul blueprint. Your twin is connected to your soul. It's the other half of your soul. It's the polarized opposite. So you're either masculine or the feminine, and you are coming back into one. And so what's happening is that you're going through your individual process. So each counterpart is going through their individual process. And this is for the process of collapsing any sort of separation between you. And that's happening, in this separation, the physical separation. So we have moments of where we're reconnecting, where the soul is bringing us back together, and then we're separating again. And this is the dance that we're experiencing on this journey, this union and union and separation, is because we're trying to balance and we're trying to come back as one, because we're created to work as one field. because we're polarized in the 3D. We have this wall of separation between us in the 3D, and we're trying to break that down on this journey. And the first step to break that down is really within yourself. You have to work through that wall of separation within yourself, because that's when you're going to find, you are then all of that wall of separation within you is reflected in the other person. And so what we're breaking down is that wall of separation, that duality between you and your counterpart. And so this is the wall of the separation between twins, causing the back and forth, the polarization as well. So what I want to say here about letting go or detaching from your twin on this journey is very important, because we want to focus back on our own process, our own journey. So it's not about focusing on them or what they are doing. You need to take back your own power within this journey as divine feminine and really focus on your own process. So really focus on your life. What is happening in your life? What's happening in your 3D reality? Where are you still stuck? Where are you still not happy with your life? Where do you need to look at, maybe negative patterns? Maybe there's karmic issues. Maybe there's things playing out in your reality that are blocking you from coming into your soul alignment, your soul purpose, all of that. Because when you've come into your frequency of your soul, that is when things start to manifest in your life. And this journey is trying to get you back into your divine power and sovereignty and mastery and really into soul alignment. That's when you can achieve divine union with your external counterpart. Before that, you're going to have this polarization, you're going to have this imbalance, and you're going to have this back and forth. You're going to have all sorts of things happening in the connection, and you're going to have the separation happening. So what we want to do is we want to take back our power here and focus on our own process and focus on our life, building our own new earth for yourself, divine feminine, building your own heaven on earth timeline. So stepping into your purpose, working towards your abundance, visualizing what is it that you want to create, what you're a creator. And the more that we're unblocking our sacral chakra and coming into the heart, the more that we're going to flow with this divine creative force, the more that we're going to be able to create. And we're not going to be in this energy of stagnation, or we're not going to be able to create, because the sacral center is the creative powerhouse for the feminine and the heart. So we have to work to unblock the sacral chakra. That's why you go through the sacral chakra healing on this journey. And you're also going through the heart activation. When these two chakras sync up, that's when you're really in that magnetism. That's when things start to really align. That's when you come into that power of the divine feminine. And you're also coming into that inner union alignment. That inner union alignment is what we're trying to attain here, because this is the alignment when you're in alignment to your soul frequency. And this is a beautiful energy to step into and really, exist from. And that's what we're coming back to. This is really what you're coming back to on this journey, that inner union, that union with your soul, that union with source, when you're really in alignment to your soul's energy. That's the beauty of this journey, and that's what you're coming back to. It's a beautiful alignment that you reach on this journey when you come into that inner union. And so this is what we're trying to attain. And so we're not focusing on the 3D. We're detaching so much from what's happening in the 3D. This is really important, because the 3D is not going to give you the answers that you need. The 3D is a past reality playing out. So you want to see the 3D as a past reality and a past, like this is a past timeline, and you are actually shifting into a higher timeline. And so what's happening is that you are transcending that 3D. So whatever's playing out in 3D is always a past version of, you maybe your counterpart, you're seeing them doing all sorts of things. So what that is a past version. So you need to focus on the 5D and stabilize in that inner union, which is your higher self within you and really anchoring in that divine union timeline, which is then going to shift the 3D, because the 3D only shifts when you have shifted that energy, when you balanced the frequency of that masculine and feminine, when you release that wall of separation, which is what's happening on this journey gradually. You can't just, all of a sudden break down this wall of separation. The separation wall is within each counterpart. So that's why we go through our individual process of balancing this separation within us. First of all, we're breaking that down so that the soul can then merge back as one and become one energetic field. That's what we're trying to attain on this journey. We're trying to come back into that one energetic field, and that's happening gradually on this journey. So it's a journey of focusing on yourself, and your soul is going to bring in everything in stages for you. That's why this happens in stages, because you can't have everything happen all at once. You can't purge everything at once. You can't have all the lessons all at once. You just can't do that. That's impossible. You have to go through the stages of this journey, and the soul is taking you through those stages. The soul is orchestrating the unions, the reunions, the separations for a reason. And when we're in separation, we need to understand that that is for a reason, because there's work that needs to be done in the separation before we come back into union again, or that reunion. And to stay in the union, you have to have that wall of separation dissolved. You have to be able to hold that one field, which is what you are. And that's what you're building towards. That's what the union is. And that's what's happening through this journey, is you're gradually taking down this wall of separation to come back into the oneness of your soul. And so when you're focused too much on the physical or in the 3D or the masculine, this is what happens often on the beginning of the journey. And everyone's at different stages of this journey right now. So take what resonates with you, because maybe you're already past, the focusing on the external counterpart. But what the message is that you have to come into your own divine sovereignty and divine power as a divine feminine, or a divine masculine if you're a divine masculine. It really doesn't matter. But for the divine feminine, because most of you are divine feminists and you're going first on this journey, you are the ones that are leading this journey. And for you, the focus has to be on your own internal union, aligning to your soul's frequency, aligning to your higher timelines and your path, your ascension path. Because when you're staying in the 3D, when you're too much focused on the 3D, too much focused on the external counterpart, you are not shifting. You're then in that looping energy. You're stuck. You're not shifting into soul alignment. You're actually then in that suffering. You're in that ego. And what keeps us suffering on this journey is the ego structure, is the ego. So that's what keeps us, really in that mind and in that looping, because we're still in that ego. We haven't transcended that. We have to transcend the ego to come into the heart frequency, to come into that unity consciousness, to come into your own internal union. And that's what's so important in this journey. Your twin is only going to reflect to you where you are on your journey. If you're not in your divine feminine power, they're not in their divine masculine power. They can't be. If you're not in your divine feminine power, they're not going to be in their divine masculine power. That's why for you, divine feminine, you have to come into your divine feminine power on this journey. That's what's so important, and that's what you're here to come back to. So this is the message for today. And I also want to say that I do have my Inner Union course, which is a really great course for you if you need support to come into your power, to come into your union. That is a course that is going to help you with that. I have my Patreon community as well, lots of content on there to help you on this journey. I have my private coaching, my other courses, my master classes, all of that. So that is the message, and I will leave you with that today. I send you so much love for your journey and process, and I will connect with you soon. And also, I want to mention that you are invited to the Divine Feminine Circle. If you want a group coaching call, we do this mid-month And this is on Patreon. And this is really great for supporting your process, supporting your divine union. We talk about ascension, we talk about your soul purpose, divine union, and everything. We do questions, answers, and this is a great circle if you need more help and support, and if you want to join a community. And with that, I send you so much love, and I will speak to you soon.